All right, so I am live once again. I'll give a couple of minutes here for people to start coming in. Welcome to my weekend live show. If this is your first time, I try to do a live every weekend and answer a ton of questions and also interact with people. I've gotten a lot of good feedbacks from live videos. Spartan, what's up? Vincent, welcome, welcome. Welcome back. I'm gonna try to pull up the Q and A's questions here. I freaking I had my body wash in my backpack and I guess I didn't close the cap all the way, so the body wash was leaking all over in my backpack. Luckily, my laptop survived, but I can't say so much for my mouse. My mouse, the cord, it got inside the cord, and that's completely gone. That is destroyed. So I'm kind of upset. I gotta get a new mouse. Last week I had to get a new laptop charger. Now it's a new mouse. So so today's topic is my biggest mistake in the Navy. By far, I guess one of the things that I regret the most. And along the way, I'm going to answer as many questions as uh, that's asked. All right, I got my laptop set up here. So finish setting up. Summer, yes it is. Finish setting up here. Kind of did this in a rush. What are your thoughts on going enlisted with a degree? Wangbang, what's up? I mean, you can. I know one of my friends within 4 years. I think he's been in for 4 years now. He was able to get a master's degree, but he's lucky enough where the ship's not doing anything, not anything special, nothing too crazy. So he's been fortunate. But if you want to pursue a higher degree, it's a possibility. But if you want to go in with a degree, you could, while you are in, uh, you could apply for OCS. Sinful Voices, what's up? Lol's Replay, what's up? Welcome back. So, Sinful Voices, I am a new subscriber. Can you tell me what you do in the Navy and how you can become a corpsman on the green side with Marines? So, you want to be in the, what is it? Yeah, the Marines, not with the Navy. So in the Marines, they don't have what's called corpsmen. I'm sure they have their own little verbiage. I don't know exactly what they call that rate, or their job, or an MOS as Army calls it. But all you need to do really is just go to a Marines recruiter, and then hey, I want to be in the medic side of the Marines, and they'll lead you into right direction, and you move on from there. Ghostface, how do I know if I'm ready? The only, really, in my opinion, the only thing you can kind of figure out, like if you're ready or not, from Hong Kong, John Ma. Awesome, awesome, thank you. Ghostface, to know if you're ready, I mean, if you organize everything in your civilian life, there's nothing holding you back, and you're physically prepared and you're mentally ready to move on from civilian life to military life. At that point, I would say you're ready. Now, some people might say you're never really ready, but uh, just go in heads on, head first. It's not going to be anything too crazy. Military is not that difficult, right? At least the Navy is not that difficult. I can't imagine being in the Army or the Marines, being out in the battlefield, but not everybody gets to do that. But anyway, should I sign up for Navy Federal Bank at boot camp? If you don't have a bank account, like a bank set up, then Navy Federal, yes. you kind of have to at that point because the Navy has to pay you somehow. And if you don't have a bank account, they're going to give you Navy Fed. You wouldn't learn any language. Do I have a PS4? I do not have a PS4. Do you know any? The Navy does not cover LASIK eye surgeries. Actually, let me think. One of my friends actually did get a laser surgery done. I think the Navy does cover it. If I can remember correctly, yes, they do cover it. They just don't cover braces. Yeah, they either cover a part or they cover the whole thing. I think they cover the whole thing because one of my friend recently got an eye surgery done, and and because she's like her eyes are all she's wearing like the black darker shaded glasses to protect her eyes. But yeah, I think the Navy covers it. I think it's a long process though. But anyway, I'm going to answer some questions and also try to get on with the main topic here, which is my mistakes in the Navy. So I'm going to answer some few more questions here. Going to a chiropractor in the Navy, they do have a chiropractor, at least in the carrier, or a physical therapist, but nothing like too special like they do in the civilian world. Let's see. What made you want to join the Navy and not the Army, Marines, and other branches, and why the Navy? So, in terms of Army and Marines, I didn't like the idea of bullets flying at me or being in the combat zone. So, I was like, you know what, forget that. I'm going to be in a non-combatant military, which is the Navy. Not to say it's non-combatant because obviously, Navy, warship, you kind of shoot weapons and fire stuff, but there was a less likely chance that I was going to be in the midst of a bullet fight. So I was like, you know what? Let me go with the Navy. And my brother's in the Army and my cousin's in the Air Force, so I wanted to do something different. So the Navy was a choice for me. What's the pay realistically and what I may think? Ghostface. So I do have a video of exactly how much I got paid for the year of 2016 after taxes, so you can look at that. I forgot exactly on top of my head, but if you look at that, you'll know exactly how much you will be paid and when you are in the low ranks. Do you know how to become a naval pilot? Yes, you have to join before the age of 26 for the officers aviation course or something like that. You have to be an officer. You can't just be enlisted and be a Navy pilot. I think there is some programs for like that, but if you want a solid chance, be an officer. Let's see. Oh, I talked to a Air Force recruiter. All went well. Thanks for you and your subscribers for helping me with that. Awesome. Is it possible to save 20,000 plus in a 5-year contract? Wang Bang asks. Yes, because I've been in the Navy for 2 years and I was able to save up $20,000, and I did that in 2 years. Now, that doesn't mean I don't spend any money, right? Clearly last year I spent about $5,000 or $6,000, and I went to Korea. The plane ticket alone is right about $2,000, and I had to spend $4,000 cash in Korea, going back and forth, and all that kind of stuff. And every month I spend about $300 on food, because each month you get paid right roughly around 1,600, 700, or yeah, 1,600, sometimes 1,700 a month. So basically, think about it. You save $1,000, then you can spend $700. So you can kind of figure out, you can live off of $700 is what I'm trying to say, and save $1,000 each month. What's the difference between going in with a degree or no degree? If you go in with a degree in the Navy, you come in as an E3. If you don't come in with a degree and you don't have any prior military experience, you come in as E1. So that's the rank of E1 versus E3. So if you come in as E3, you kind of save yourself a lot of time, like a year and a half, not going from E1 to E3. If you join the Army with a degree, then you become E4. Navy you can only become E3. Drug test, blood draw, height and weight, and you swear in again. Oh, uh, talking to Ninoshika. Hey, I'll leave for recruit training command in 2.5 weeks. What do they do at MEPS? Like they give you what do they do at MEPS, Military Entrance Processing Station? Like they give you the blood alcohol test through the mouth. Well, if you're leaving for boot camp in 2.5 weeks, how are you going to MEPS? Oh, the final visit before you go is what you're trying to say, or they give you a final contract and another briefing? Oh no, the contract you have that says you're leaving for boot camp that day, that's your final contract. They're just, I forgot exactly what they did for the last day at MEPS, but they just feed you before you go, and I think they just test you, like physically, like blood, drug, alcohol. Like oh yeah, they just drug test you, like you urine in a cup, and then they'll test you before you go, um, and I forgot exactly everything they did, but nothing crazy. What may not qualify me to join the Navy? Uh, if you have some physical problems, or if you have some health problems, um, if you're completely deaf, or you're blind, you can't see, anything physical is the main thing. Or if you have some kind of huge debt, is a big no-no factor. But for the most part, anybody can apply and join. They just have to make sure they can physically move right and nothing's wrong with them. Jose asks, "Hey Yoon, finally caught you live again. I know you send your stuff when you get to boot camp. Could you keep your wallet though? Because I know you have to bring your ID and social." So they don't really check. Okay, when you get to boot camp, they don't really check and go through because for the instructors to look through every single personal item for 1,000 people each week, that's crazy. So they'll just say, hey, they have a little like mesh bag. Pretend this is a mesh bag. They'll say, hey, put all your personal belongings here, and this is what you're going to take with you. And then you put your wallet in there and your passport, whatever the case may be. You put it in there, and you either take it with you. I forgot exactly. Yeah, but you are able to keep your wallet. So inside your wallet, just put in your home address. So when you mail something home, or your girlfriend's home address, or your girlfriend's picture, your family picture, notes, love letters, whatever your family wants to give you last minute before you sign your life away completely. So yes, you can keep your wallet. What is life is like for an ETN, electrician nuke? Yeah, it's a nuke. Um, I don't know exactly what they do. I do have some ETN friends actually, but they work the same, roughly I think same schedule as the nukes, and it's just as difficult. Nuke life is difficult, but accordingly they get paid well. But for me, I don't think I could do the nuke life. All right, so I'm going to be talking to you about my mistakes in the Navy. So one thing that I'm regretting right now, that I kind of wish that I did. So I got to my ship September of last year. No, is it? Or was it like a year ago? Anyway, June is my 2 years in the Navy, and September will be my 2 years in the ship. One thing that I wish I did when I first got to the ship, I kind of took it easy. I kind of, took it. What ship are you with? I'm with the USS Abraham Lincoln, carrier CVN 72. So I took it easy, and I just kind of took my time. When you are in the Navy, there's a bunch of different qualifications you can get. But from the beginning, I didn't really pay attention to qualifications. A lot of majority of my time was spent, creating YouTube videos, and within a year, I was able to create over 450 something videos, and I guess, I do have something to show for it, but I don't want to make that an excuse. Uh, but kind of what hurts me now is because I didn't work hard in the beginning and get all my qualifications. So a year later now, roughly 2 years into the Navy, the problems that I'm running into are when you are coming up for awards or recognition and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, right now I have, I'm one of the top notch, if I can say, without trying to be narcissistic or have a huge ego. From what I can see, compared to other people, I have awards. I have 2 awards within 2 years. I have 2 recognitions from the captain within 2 years. Not a lot of people can, not a lot of people are able to get that, and I have a lot of momentum built up, to be the top sailor of the ship. But what's stopping me now is, compared to other people who may not have those awards, who may not have those recognitions from the captain, they have more qualifications. So in comparison, right, here's the ping pong ball. This is other people, and this is me, right? I have awards and awards, a little bit of qualifications, and a lot of recognition from the higher chain of command, right? Compared to the other people where they don't have awards, they don't have recognition, but they have a lot of qualifications, right? Like surface warfare, air warfare, information dominance warfare, DC qualifications, work center supervisor, bunch of different stuff, right? So what it starts to come down to is, at the end of the day, when people in a ship of 3,000 people, they can't just go by, oh, he's a great person, and give him an award, because everybody's going to be saying that to themselves, or to the people that are coming up for awards. So what it comes down to is what's on piece of paper, right? Because the higher people don't really look at, don't really work with people at the bottom. They just look at a piece of paper of the list of accomplishments this person has done, and they kind of, from what I can see, this may not be true, but this is kind of what I can see. They kind of base on who gets awards and who gets special recognitions and stuff like that, based on that, what's on the qualification. So what's biting me in the butt right now is I don't have as much qualifications compared to some of these other people that do, and I'm just playing the catch up game right now. Even though I'm pretty, I have a lot of eyes looking at me, and making sure they're following me, doing, trying to catch up with me and stuff like that. But I wish if I could go back in time to when I first got to the ship. Just work on your qualifications, as much qualifications as you can get from the beginning, from the get. And that's going to help you out a lot more later on. Because right now, I don't have a lot of time, because I'm involved with a bunch of different activities and clubs. One thing that I'm involved in right now is, moral welfare recreation treasurer, basically trying to create fun events for the ship, and also honor guard for the ship, people who twirl the rifles and hold the flags and stuff. I was the ACFL, Assistant Command Fitness Leader, but then I got dropped because I took my physical fitness test, and my overall score was a good high or a good medium, and you need to maintain a excellent to maintain your ACFL status. So I was dropped from ACFL, which is a shame, because ACFL is a good billet. But now I needed to reduce anyway to focus on some other stuff. So right now I'm working with MWR treasurer and also honor guard. So hopefully that works out for me. So Jose asks, could you give more information about certification, like how do you get them, and top sailors? So in terms of certifications, when you get to your ship, they're going to tell you, hey, this is what you need to get, and this is what we expect you to get in this time frame. They're going to have a layout for you. They're not going to hold your hand and help you get it along the way. You have to take the initiative to do it. And it's hard for me to explain this now, but once you are in the system, once you are in the Navy or in the military, whatever branch you serve, you're going to see you're going to know what you need to do. And a lot of times you have to take the initiative to get it done. And how do you get them? You, like I said, talk to people, get signatures, get training, take the tests, and then if you pass the test and you get qualified. And top sailor is every year there is the blue jacket of the quarter for E3 and below, junior sailor of the year. Blue Jacket of the Year, which is E3 and below, Junior Sailor of the Year, which is E4, Sailor of the Year, which is E5, Senior Sailor of the Year, which is E6. So I'm trying to aim for the Blue Jacket of the quarter because they have a quarterly, and also get Blue Jacket of the Year. So that's two things that I'm trying to get, that I'm working hard towards. Let's see. Sub Yoon, Sub Ivan, what's up? How hard is it to get into rescue swimming? One of my friends is a rescue swimmer. The only thing you have to do first is make sure you can pass the physical, like swimming and push-ups and stuff like that, and make sure you're physically okay. And I know they get special training. I don't know exactly what, but from what I'm told, it's not too difficult. So as long as you can swim and you're physically fit and you can pass the different tests that they have, you should be okay. What kind of qualifications are more valuable than others? So in a carrier like I am in, when you're in a different ship, it might be a totally different environment. They might not care about qualifications as much, but at least for the ship that I'm in, they care greatly about qualifications. So the three qualifications that they care a lot about is surface warfare pin, and air warfare pin, and information dominance warfare. So I have the surface pin, which is surface knowledge of how the ship operates, just the basics of every single rate. You kind of have to know and memorize and keep in mind, and they test you on that. Stop making excuses, Yoon. I'm trying. I'm not making excuses. You're right. You're right. What's information dominance? I don't know exactly. I haven't got to that pin yet. I'm currently working on my air warfare. But information dominance, I think, from my guess, it's all about like cyber or like computer stuff, and ships security and stuff like that. I might be wrong, but that's what I can kind of assume it to be. Can you tell me about LS, logistics specialist? So I am LS. LS is, you would deal with supply. You can either work in a postal. You can work in a postal for the ship. So whenever there's a mail coming in or mail coming out, packages coming in or packages coming out, LSs deal with that. Or general material, that's an S8. So whenever you need office supplies like a ruler, pen, paper, binders, soap, toilet paper, office material, bed furniture, anything related to things like a box, fishing rod, a table, anything supply, it goes through LSs. And S8 is a division that takes care of general material, and what I am in is S6, which is aviation material. So parts for the aircraft, so I deal with that. LS is also deal with financials, making sure financially they're able to order stuff. So in a nutshell, that's what LS's do. Let's see. I leave. Luke Jackson says I leave July 11th. What are the pros and cons of being in boot camp during the summer? Luke Jackson, I do have a video on that. If you want a more video dedicated to that, you can go there. But pros and cons of being in boot camp for the summer, you're going to be spending Christmas with an A school. It's one thing because boot camp is 2 months, and right after that you go to A school. So I don't know how it's going to play out for you, but you're going to be in Christmas in A school. Ensign Gaming, welcome back. Ensign Gaming is all the way from the Philippines. McFumey, you know anything about subs? I do not know anything about subs. The only few things that I know about subs is the space is incredibly small, and they recycle farts. They turn farts into air to breathe and stuff because they recycle everything within the sub. As far as you know about rescue swimming, do they sail on ship with you guys? Yeah, they're in the ship. Each ship needs a rescue swimmer. So, Yoon, could you let your parents bring you clothes from A school when they attend boot camp grad? Could you let your parents bring your clothes for A school when they attend graduation? No, they cannot, Jervon. You can't have your own personal stuff in boot camp because after you graduate, right, you get to you go back to your compartment, drop off your stuff, and then you get to see your family and then go out, right? But at the end of the day, you have to come back to boot camp, sleep for the night, and then if your A school is out flying somewhere else, then you go to the airport. There, you can meet with your family, give you your stuff, and because you're military, the airport will pay for all the luggage, or the military will pay for all the luggage. So the best thing you can do, Javon, is meet your family at the airport to give you clothes for A school. Oh. Adam C. asks, hey, Yoon, I've been taking the ASVAB, but have been in contact with both Air Force and Navy recruiters. Is there an advantage to the Navy rather than the Air Force that is notable? Just want a first-hand account. So Adam, I don't know because I haven't been able to swing both sides because I'm only in the Navy, so I'm only lean towards one thing. I don't know exactly what the benefits of being in the Air Force compared to the Navy is. Can you guys even hear me? Am I lagging? Is it broken? No, it's not. It's so good. Okay. Because it just says very bad connection. All right. Yeah, so Adam, I can't give you a good answer. I just know that Air Force has it, from what I can see and from what I hear, a lot easier compared to the Navy. The Navy living condition isn't as great as I hoped it to be, but did you see any pirates? I did not see any pirates. All right, Javon, I'll get back to you on your question after I answer some of these again. Or am I in E3? Yes, I am in E3. What are the odds that a deployment will get extended? Pretty big. Whenever they want. they can extend. What have been my scariest moments in the Navy? I haven't had one so far. Um, yeah. If I do, I'll let you know. I'll make a video about it. Let's see. So Javon lagged during the entire question. So Javon, you cannot have, you cannot let your, my rank is E3. You can't let your parents bring you your stuff to boot camp, okay? Because what happens when you graduate, right? You graduate, then you go back to your compartment. Then when you go back to your compartment, you drop your stuff off. Then you go see your family and you hang out with your family outside of boot camp. Then you come back. Then you sleep in boot camp, and then you wake up, go to the airport, and then you're off to A school. So the only opportunity you get to get your personal belongings like civilian gear is at the airport, because you cannot have your personal stuff in boot camp. You cannot definitely have your cell phone in boot camp, because that's a highly big no-no. So the only thing you can do, and what I did, was I met my family at the airport, and the military pays for all the extra luggages that you have, and that's how you can get your civilian stuff for A school. Is at the airport when you are going to A school. Let's see. What is my rank? I am E3. How's the confidence chamber? It wasn't that bad for me. Yeah, this is the base internet provided connection, so not that great, but it's free. Once I get my own living facility, I'll try to get my own internet, and maybe that'll be better. Do aircrewmen get shot at? No. Let's see. How many countries, ports have you visited? 0. I went to Korea last year for vacation for like 24 days. That's about mass communication specialists, MCs. That's one thing that I wish I was, an MC. I think I was, I think I would have been pretty good at it. Am I lagging now? No. I'm watching myself at the same time, answering the questions here to make sure I'm not lagging. Okay. So, my thoughts about. All right. So my thoughts about being an MC. MCs, I think, is a fun gig. Some people hate it. It's not for everybody. But if you like taking pictures and making stories and recording stuff and creating videos, I don't know exactly all the things that they do, but I think it's a pretty good gig. When are you taking your advancement exam then? I already took it. I didn't make it. Better luck next time, Yoon. So that's that. Not too crazy. I mean, not too upset about it. I wish. I don't think I operate at an E3 level, but I missed it by 3 points, which is actually 2.5 points, which is roughly about 5 questions. And the test had like 150 questions, so I missed it by 5 points, and roughly a point is roughly about 2 questions. I did have an award, so that helped cover 2 points. So no, I missed it by 4.5, which is 5 questions. No, 2, 4, 8, 9. Okay, yeah. So I'm confusing myself, but at the end of the day, I missed it by basically, what was it, 5 questions? Yeah, I missed it by 5 questions, is what I'm trying to say. Out of, yeah, I'm not worried. Next time, I'll definitely get it. It was my first time taking the test, so I didn't really know what to expect. And unfortunately, the people above me didn't, not to put them on blast or anything like that, but I don't think they prepared me as well as they could have and should have. So it was my first time taking it. So next time I take it, I know exactly how the style of the test is, so I'm pretty confident that I'll make it. Let me go back up to the question so I don't miss anything here. Let's see. Do I miss my family? Not as much because I call my family every single day. I call my grandmother at 6 o'clock and my mother at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. So whenever I see them in person, it almost feels like I've never left because I call them every single day. And luckily I have that opportunity. When you are on deployment, you don't really have that opportunity, have that luxury. But for me, I do have that, so I call them every single day, and whenever I can, I do FaceTime them too. So it's almost like I'm never gone. I'm just in a different place, living not too far. But in reality, I'm like 9 hour drive away. You skipped over my question. What do you know about being a quartermaster? All I know about being a QM, Brandon, is one thing that they do is they man the ship, like the helm or whatever it's called, the big wheel for the carrier. That's one thing that they do is, drive that, which I don't know how exciting that may be, but that's one thing that I know they do. And they memorize the flags, I think. All the different flags like Bravo, Papa, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, and different conditions of the ship, Oscar, and stuff like that. All right. So moving on to the next questions here. What if your A school is in Great Lakes? Could you make your parents bring your stuff for A school? Jose, I'm not exactly too sure how that process is, but I don't see why not, because I think one thing that they do, if I remember correctly, after graduation, the people who have A school in Illinois go to the compartment, pick up all their stuff, go to their new their A school, and then from there, I think your parents can give you your stuff there, so it's not much of a problem. Um, yeah. Let's see. Name the funniest pros about the Navy. Funniest pros about the Navy. You work with a bunch of Siemens. Let's see. After you enlisted, how long did you have to wait to ship out? I think I waited around about 7 or 8 months on purpose. I signed up November and I said, hey, I'm gonna leave at June. So they said, okay. People can call me shipmate if they want. I don't care. People can call me anything that they want. How often can you take the advancement test? You take it twice a year. Except for, okay, so for example, let's say I picked up E4, Petty Officer Third Class. Then to take the E5 exam, I would have to wait a year. I can't. So you take one at March and you take one at September. Um, Everybody in the Navy does. So if you pick up rank, you wait a year. From E1 to E2, you wait 9 months and you automatically pick up E2. From E2 to E3, you wait another 9 months, I think, right? Yeah. And then you pick up E3. From E3 to E4, you wait 6 months. And then if you pick up E4, then you wait a year to take the E5 test. And then if you pick up E5, then I think you wait 3 years to take the first class exam. Yeah. What was your rank coming out of boot camp? I was E1. Yoon seems very chill person. You always seem relaxed. Ivan, I try to be. Today I kind of lost my cool a little bit because I was kind of upset for something, but I try to be, man. Life's too short to be, you know, going crazy. One thing that I am, you don't really get to see this a lot in my videos, but uh, I'm a very like pompous person. When you meet me in person, I'm a very like pompous person. And, like I like to think I'm a humble person, you know. But when you see me in person and you interact with me in person, I will be the most cockiest person you'll ever meet. Because one of my philosophy is just, you know, be confident and say whatever until that becomes reality. That's one of the things that I go by, and that's why you hear me say a lot. Hey, I'm gonna try to be, a Blue Jacket Sailor of the Quarter and Blue Jacket of Sailor of the Year, right? And I'm confident in when I say that, and I say that every single day or every single time because I truly want to make that a reality, and I work hard towards it. So, in person, that's magnified into a greater degree, to the point that it almost annoys some people. But yeah. So if I do skip over your question, uh, just repeat it. I am getting a lot of questions today, so you might just have to repeat it until I answer your question. Do you ever plan to go officer? Why did you choose the Navy? I chose the Navy because my brother's in the Army, my cousin's in the Air Force, and whenever I thought about the military, I like to think about the ocean. So I wanted to be different and not do the same thing as my relatives did and my brother did. And so I chose the Navy. I got out of boot camp last week. Awesome. Hope you graduated, right? The Salter. What ships were you assigned to, and what do you do in the ship? I am assigned to the USS Abraham Lincoln. You can find that out if you just look at my Instagram. You can kind of see the cover that I have. So that's not too crazy. And what I do in the ship, I am in S6. I work with aviation supply. So making sure aircrafts and stuff and supporting different divisions with supply related stuff. That's so weird. I got an AAP third class made seaman. Got third class and scheduled per LPO to take the second class exam sometime in September. Awesome. OPSEC. I'm in A school and my barracks are called the USS Abraham Lincoln. Cool. You think you can save $1,000 a month after boot camp? McFernie asks. McFernie, yes, because I've been able to. I spend a lot. But I've been when I first, and this is one of the topics that I'm going to be coming out in the future. I'm just telling you now. When and this is like a good, I guess I can segue into a financial series. But the financial series that I'm making here, one financial series that I'm making here is titled "How I Went from $200 to $20,000 in 2 years." So, when I got into the Navy June 2nd of 2014, I only had $200 in my bank account. But next month June will be my 2 year mark, and I'm sitting at $20,000. So, can you save $1,000 a month after boot camp? Yes. So ideally, I should have had $24,000, but I spend a lot of money on food and whatever I want to buy, and UGG boots and stuff like that. If you follow my Instagram, you can kind of see I'm crazy for clothes. And last year I went to Korea, spent about $8,000. So you can save a lot more than $1,000 per month. But I tried, and yes, I've been able to save $20,000 in 2 years. So it's very possible to save even more than $1,000 a month. Saw your video, just didn't know if you can do it right after boot camp. Oh, yeah. So currently IT3, just waiting for TIR, but scheduled for testing in September. What are you saving for to buy? So my family and I, we are saving to buy. We're pulling up our money. The current plan, 19 minutes. The current plan is to save up the money, all our money, and pull up our money and put a big down payment on a house. So that's the current plan. You know, I'm trying to raise about $30,000 to put onto a house, and I don't know exactly how much my family is going to put on the table, but $30,000 for one person, and in combination with my family, we can buy a pretty sizable house with that, and that house is either going to go to my brother or me. So it's either way beneficial for the family, and I'm all about family. Would you teabag a bear trap if you got a tongue punch Kate Upton's fart box after? No, not worth it. Mez, not worth it. So in the Navy, do you have a driver's license? Do I have to have a driver's license? It does come in handy, Cyrus. You don't necessarily have to, but when you are in the Navy, there are going to come times where it is beneficial, yes. Are you in contact? Are you in contract with other popular sailors that make YouTube videos? JT and I talk every once in a while. JT sometimes comes to my videos, live videos, and interacts, and we talk sometimes. Since I'm all the way in the East Coast in Virginia, and JT and all the other guys all the way in the West Coast in Cali, there's nothing much I can do. If I'm at Cali, I'm sure I'll hang out with them and make videos and collab with them. But until that time comes, I'll be flying solo here. D Mayo, love you too. Sang, what's up? Daniel asks, what's your rate? I am a logistics specialist, LS. Where in Virginia are you stationed? I thought most Navy guys were stationed on ships. Virginia is actually home to the biggest naval base, which is Naval Station Norfolk. So that's where majority of the ships are, which is in the naval base. So yeah. I went to school at Old Dominion University. Yes, ODU is near here. I don't know exactly where. From where I am, right about 10 minutes down is CNU, Christopher Newport University.
Jonah, this is Kim.
What's up?
Throw your shit on the floor somewhere.
Hey dude, is he not way better looking than Shepman?
Come on, take a shit.
He's like, look at this little meat muffin. He's all buff and so fucking adorable, and then there's Shepman. I'm sure you were. Hey bro, let me get a sweater. With pockets.
What is the Navy boot camp like in comparison to other branches? I don't know.
You can't answer that.
I can't answer that, yeah. Because I haven't been through other training. You know what? I imagine it's more difficult, except for the Air Force.
No, I'm gonna give this a go.
Army and Marines, I imagine it to be more difficult. Like physically, probably, maybe not mentally, but physically, probably more difficult.
Want to check me number 3?
I know one thing my brother had to do. My brother was in the Army. He had to like assemble a rifle or something, some sort of gun in a certain time. Cyrus, I answered your question. So do you need a driver's license when you are in the Navy? No, but it does come in handy sometimes. So, for me, sometimes I drive Navy vehicles, government vehicles. So, to drive government vehicles, you still need a license. So I was able to get that. Some people in the Navy don't have any license, and you know they they have a difficult time. Do you receive a lot of small arms training? No, you do not. The only small arms training you get is in boot camp for the 9mm, and after that, you don't really get to see it unless you go to security. But you won't have a lot of opportunity for small arms training. What is your favorite financial help book that helped you savings?
Come on, you hurrying up?
One thing that helped me the most was the debt. What is it? The 4 quadrants of debt-free prosperity. I forgot exactly who it was from. The 4 laws of debt. Oh yeah, I remember now. It's the 4 laws of debt-free prosperity.
So did I. So did I.
If I enter basic with associate's degree, that makes me E3. Yeah, right? Yes. Spike Pit. Yes, you're right. Isn't it possible to leave basic? It isn't possible to leave basic with anything more, right? Yes, you cannot. At least for Navy boot camp. If so, how long might it take for me to make E4 and E5 standard time, right? Thanks. So, as fast as I've seen somebody make E5 was like a year and a half. Let's see. All right, my friends left, so it's a lot more.